What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. As always, this is not a main episode of the Let's Play. This is going to be a Codex read-in and lore discussion episode. If that's not something you're interested in, go ahead and click away now and wait for the main episode of the Let's Play. If it is something you're interested in, then let's go ahead and dive into these Codex and get our nerd on. I do want to say before I start this that, man, I am falling in love with Dragon Age Origins all over again. This is like the 7th episode I've recorded today. I am very into this game. This Let's Play is rapidly becoming a labor of love, so I hope by the time this is done, it's met my own expectations and anybody watching this, and I hope I managed to do it some justice. I really love and appreciate this game. It's been a staple in my life for a very long time, and I hope to keep doing it justice. Anyways, enough of that. Let's jump in. So, creatures. Wraith. Legend has it that when Andraste's ashes were taken into hiding, some of her closest disciples gave themselves to the fire, that their restless souls might remain to guard her final resting place forever. Whether they are the spirits of Andraste's disciples or merely fade spirits, the temple that houses the sacred urn is filled with wraiths. Created from a burnt corpse, an ash wraith is a powerful and amorphous opponent able to lash and smother while being immune to most physical attacks. Even if successfully dispersed, it can reform at a later time. Magic is the only real way to fight such a creature, wind and ice attacks being the most useful. They are capable of creating small whirlwinds that are devastating to anybody unfortunate enough to get close, and their touch leaves a person drained. We did see them using some of that ability in Honnleath, where we met our first one. Characters. We have a bunch in this, actually. Loghain Mac Tir. There'll be an update somewhere down here. Here it is. His actions sparked a civil war. Loghain's supporters found themselves fighting their neighbors who blamed Loghain for the death of the king, as well as those who simply wished to take advantage of the power vacuum. So after he did all of this, he left King Cailan and the Grey Wardens to die. He tried to overthrow the Circle of Magi. He poisoned Eamon and plunged the land into darkness and civil unrest that eventually led into a civil war. He split the entirety of Ferelden, during a time of blight, I'll add, into a civil war and struggle for power. You have half the land that doesn't want to just bow to Loghain because he said so. They think he's traitorous scum. After all, he betrayed the king and the wardens, who are somewhat of a folk hero in Ferelden. And then you have the other half that are loyal to him, and I imagine part of that faction is also just out for their own power. Yeah, destroying Ferelden in the name of Ferelden, as I keep saying, because that's the only real way I can think to word Loghain's actions. As this gets deeper and deeper, I have even more of a hard time understanding his reasoning for what he's doing. But when we do the Return to Ostagar DLC, we'll get a little more on what influenced his decision at Ostagar, at least I believe. I'm sure he knew about what we'll read about. Okay, Shale. What can I say? I have a heart of stone. The golems of Orzammar once made up the vanguard of the Dwarven army, holding back the tides of Darkspawn that flooded out of the deep roads. But the art of making them was lost, and many of them succumbed to wear and damage in battle. Shale has no memories, either of the time spent fighting in the deep roads, or of coming to Honnleath, only a few spotty and bitter recollections of its last master. Apparition unearthed Shale's control rod and awakened it, adding a bitter, malfunctioning golem to the menagerie of companions. We have Zevran Arainai. The crows send their regards. Between the Tevinter Imperium, Rivain, and the Free Marchers sits the nation of Antiva. Although it possesses few resources of its own, Antiva's location makes it a center for trade in the north, and the capital, Antiva City, is the wealthiest in the world. Antiva has virtually no army. The monarchy is too weak to support one. Most Antivans would be hard-pressed even to name the current king, as the true power lies in the hands of a dozen merchant princes, each with a personal army, and each locked in a constant struggle for power against all the others. Anyone would think, then, that Antiva would be a ripe target for invasion by one of her neighbors, but even the Qunari leave Antiva alone for one very good reason: the House of Crows. The most efficient, most feared, and most expensive guild of assassins in the world calls Antiva their home, and their reputation alone defends the borders. Zevran was the crow contracted by Loghain to assassinate Alistair and Apparition. One failed attempt later, however, he found himself at the mercy of his would-be victims. They showed him unexpected mercy, and in return, he swore to aid the Wardens on their quest to end the Blight. So Antiva, based on what I can tell out of reading this, It's kind of like a pirate island where they're all just like drunken assassins, pirates, merchants, sailors, and they all just kind of gather here on like Treasure Island, essentially, is what Antiva seems to be. The closest thing that I can draw to from what this codex says. Interesting that even the Canary leave them alone, because if you attack Antiva, one of the assassins might attempt to take the life of your Arashok, or vice versa. Books and songs. We have one. The Journal of Enchanter Wilhelm. 13 Platanus. The interrogation of the demon is going well, and is rather fascinating, provided that what it is saying is true. I have sent all my research so far to First Enchanter Arden, and while he is concerned about my safety, he does not think there is a reason to stop just yet. All I hope is that the Templars do not discover what I am doing. How will we ever find another way to deal with demonic possession if the Chantry does not let us research it? 20 La Vista. Young Matthias nearly wandered down here again today, and this time I forgot to leave the barrier up. I believe I will key the defenses to ignore anyone of my blood. I would rather have the boy stumble into the laboratory than have him killed by my forgetfulness, poor lad. All he wants is to know why his father spends so much time beneath the tower. I will spend more time with him soon, I swear it. 28 La Viesta. Shale is acting strangely. I wonder if I should discontinue my experiments upon it. I am so near a breakthrough, I am certain. Perhaps it is best if I focus on the demon. 2 Matronalis. Matronalis? The demon almost managed to get away again. Tricky. I shall have to be more careful. Young Eamon sent a letter asking me to return to Redcliffe. I shall have to consider it. Soon. But this is a long time ago. This is when all Eamon was a child. 11 Matronalis. Could it be? What an intriguing discovery. Especially considering that the demon was attempting to keep me from it at all costs. Or did it lead me to that information by seeming to deny it from me? I must discover the truth. But it seems like this guy was housing this demon. Was he like feeding it people to possess so that he could try and figure out a way to fight possession? 19 Umbralia. I think it is time to dismiss this demon. It is too dangerous for me to continue holding it, and I cannot discount the possibility that it is having some influence over the golem. Or is it my experiments? I will try to deactivate Shale for the time being, and then deal with the demon once and for all. Let it end here. There are no further entries. From the Journal of Enchanter Wilhelm Solbacher. So you can assume here that the reason why there was no more entries is because when he went to deactivate Shale, he got smooshed, and then Shale froze in the village. It is interesting to note that this mage seemed to believe that the demon was having some kind of sway over the golem, but he also admits to performing experiments, so maybe Shale will have something to say about this in conversation. I'd be interested to see if demons can influence golems or not. Notes. A note from the Honnleath Village Council. Mistress Matilda, the council has unanimously agreed to put you in charge of the decorations for Honnleath's upcoming harvest festival. We all adored what you did with the village for the winter solstice. As usual, the statue must be adorned with items that capture the essence of the season. Iris kindly offered the use of her wide-brimmed straw hat with the berries and daisies and would love to see it on the statue. Farmer Goodman will also donate some of his baby pumpkins. We think a garland of small pumpkins and ribbons draped about the statue's shoulders would be lovely. Whatever you decide will be splendid, I'm sure, and we are all looking forward to it. Councilman Murray, so they were decorating Shale like a Halloween seasonal scarecrow. I'm sure Shale loved that. Probably part of the reason why he has such disdain for the villagers. A decades-old letter. Madam, I can assure you that the Circle of Magi is not a sacrilegious institution, and that indeed, we operate under the supervision of the Chantry. It would make our investigation of your husband's death much easier if you would simply cooperate with us. I am disappointed to hear that you sold the golem's activation rod. I understand both it and your husband were of invaluable aid to King Marek during the war against Olay. Without the rod, we cannot discern whether Wilhelm's golem was responsible for his murder. The golem will simply have to remain where it is, unless the villagers can find a means to destroy it. Our condolences to you and your son for your loss. I imagine it is of little consolation to you, but your husband is much admired here, and will be missed. May it keep you. First Enchanter Arlen. So our first enchanter, Arlen, is the one that knew that he was doing the little experiments with the demons. He neglected to mention that here. Although he did say that both Shale and this mage were invaluable aid to King Marek during the rebellion. I did not know that. That is the first time I am learning that this Golem and Wilhelm, they fought in the war against Ole. I didn't know that. This is the first time I've read that codex. That is very interesting to know, actually. That makes Shale very old and also kind of a war hero in Ferelden. Friends of Red Jenny. The task was never promised to be easy. You said you could enter the Circle Tower, and you were believed. Find the small painted box in First Enchanter Irving's office, and deliver it to the floor marked in Denerim as agreed. Sorry, door, not floor. Or be prepared to find yourself hunted across Ferelden. Friends of Red Jenny. There is a sketched map of several doors. It requires the box to be placed on it to block out false leads. Alright, I think that's it. And I do believe we did pick up that box. We only just got that codex recently. But I do believe we got a small painted box. Somewhere in here it should be. Yes, small painted box right here. We found that in Irving's office. We do need to take that to Denerim at some point. But alas, that is all the codex for this episode, so I'm going to wrap it up here. We're going to sit by the bonfire and warm our bones before we head out next time. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Take care, guys. Have a good day.